So the year was 2023. I had just completed the most insane dirty bulk of my entire life, which led to my physique looking like this. Now, when I first started working out, I thought that I would want to have that huge powerlifting, jacked, bulbous look. And I thought I'd be happy with my physique. But once I got to that point, I realized I was like, damn, I'm a lot stronger, but I'm also kind of fat right now. So I realized at that point that what I was actually chasing after was a more aesthetic physique, something that was strong and muscular, but also lean and athletic. So I then started learning the principles of how to cut down. I spent a lot of time learning how to cut. But in today's video, I really just wanted to give you all of my knowledge, everything that I've learned over the last 4.5 years of lifting in a simple video, so that if you're somebody who's trying to get lean, trying to get athletic, especially this summer, we can just really fast track you and get you there. And just so you guys know, this is what I used to look like. The reason I'm showing you this is I really want to make the point that if you're somebody who doesn't have great genetics, or maybe you're in a starting point where you're like, oh, I don't really look that good right now, or I'm not super happy with my body, what's the point? Well, that's actually exactly who this video is for. I'm just an average guy, just a normal dude who started off in the same position that you're probably in. And I really just want to stress the point that really anyone can get into good shape. It's not just people who have insane genetics. It's literally anybody who just knows the right information and does the right stuff. And after several years of weightlifting and dieting and making lots of mistakes and doing some things right, I was finally able to apply the proper principles of fitness to completely transform my physique and get abs. And that's exactly what I'm gonna share with you in this video. All right, so there's gonna be 4 principles that we're gonna use to get you abs so quickly that it feels illegal. The first principle is going to be your protein intake. Protein intake is really important because protein, number one, is the most anabolic of all the macronutrients. It's what your body uses primarily to make muscles. The other thing about protein too is that it is the most satiating macronutrient, meaning that it keeps you fullest for the longest. So generally we want to shoot for about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So let's say that you weigh 170 pounds. Well, that means that we want to consume about 170 grams of protein. It means that we're going to have more than enough protein to fuel any sort of muscle building, and also plenty of protein to keep you full while we do this cutting period. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to want to weightlift. Weightlifting is really important, especially if you're a young man. There's just no getting around it. I hear a lot of guys who try to get around weightlifting when they're trying to get in good shape. But the fact of the matter is that having an aesthetic, healthy body as a young man requires having at least some sort of muscle mass. So, we don't need to go crazy, nothing like that, but we definitely need to make sure that we're weightlifting. And really all we need is about 3 to 5 times a week. 3 times is fine if you're really busy and don't have a ton of time. And we only need about 30 to 45 minutes of working out. You don't have to be in there for 3 hours or anything like that, but get in there 3 times minimum, 30 to 45 minutes. That's all you need. That'll be plenty of time to stimulate your muscles and build muscle mass. Now, real quick, guys, speaking of building muscle mass and getting lean, the other thing I wanted to mention too is I know this video is roughly about 8 or 9 minutes, but if you're interested in getting a more comprehensive outlook on everything, I actually do have a course in the description down below. It's fully comprehensive. It's literally everything I know. It's several hours long, so feel free to check that out if you want a deeper dive into fitness. All right, and then the next principle that we're gonna talk about is called NEAT. NEAT means non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Otherwise, it's just a really fancy way of saying the calories that you burn outside of structured workout time. So like structured workout time would be, when you're in the gym lifting weights or doing cardio or whatever. NEAT refers to when you're walking around outside, or when you walk up your stairs or down your stairs. Just the time outside of structured activity where you're still expending energy. So in my opinion, the easiest way to increase your NEAT is to just simply get 10,000 steps a day. If you get 10,000 steps a day, you can pretty much guarantee that your non-exercise activity thermogenesis is going to be relatively high. You're going to be able to burn extra calories, which again, at the end of the day, getting abs is really just about being lean enough to expose your abdominal muscles. And so having a high NEAT is a really great way to make sure that you're burning extra calories so that you can be in a calorie deficit, so that you can get lean enough to show your abdominal muscles. All right, and then lastly, and I think this is gonna be a really important one, is we want to remove the processed foods out of our diet while we're trying to get abs. So processed food basically just means anything that your ancestors would not have been able to eat. So like, going out to McDonald's, that super sugary chocolate cake that you wanna eat, donuts, that kind of stuff. The stuff that tastes really good, but doesn't really provide any sort of actual nutrients to your body. So when we think about real foods, think about things like animal meats, ground beef, steak, bison, chicken, eggs, that kind of stuff. That's going to be actual nutrients to your body. So I think really this is a huge point for me, but almost 80 to 90% of dieting problems can be solved, in my opinion, by just removing processed food. So this is going to be a big part. If you just replace the processed foods with only real foods, quote unquote, then I think that you're going to find that getting abs and getting lean is actually not that difficult. And so, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I know it's pretty simple, but I'm not here to give you some BS fad diet or tell you some secrets or some hacks. I'm really just here to give you the information and empower you with the tools necessary to change your body. Because again, if you clicked on this video, it's likely you're just a normal dude like me who wants to get in shape, wants to be healthy. And so if you just do these things like we talked about, with the protein intake, with weightlifting, with non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and with just removing processed foods out of your diet, I can pretty much guarantee that you're gonna get lean, get shredded, get abs like you want. Just make sure you stay disciplined, obviously, because at the end of the day, none of this really will work if you don't do it consistently. And doing things consistently just requires a little bit of discipline. Now, the other part too, and I say this a lot in my videos, is have a little bit of space for grace. If this is your first time dieting, realize that you're human. If you make a mistake, that's okay. Just get back on the wagon the next day. I believe in you. You can do it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.